This is the architecture of our system so far that we have done. Earlier on, we created a index.php file and placed it on the web server. So this is the web server here, also known as Apache Web Server. And we put a index.php script in here. If you recall, if you open our folder, other location, var www html, this is our index.php. So the index.php is a file which serves the default web page to the client. So when the client connects to the web server, it will serve this page to the client. And then inside here, there's also a file, passwords.txt file, which is this one, which stores the password. Now let us try to understand how the web page works so that you'll be able to modify it if you want to. So I will open this with text editor, right click, open with text editor. And as you can see here, a web page consists of two parts. The first part is your PHP script, which starts here and ends here. These are the PHP tags. PHP is a scripting language for web servers for writing web applications. And then the second part is your static HTML page, which starts over here and proceeds all the way to the bottom here. So the HTML file is the one which you see when you open this web page. So let us try to start the server now. Open the terminal first and type service Apache 2 start. So we are starting our Apache web server. Let's press enter. And now if you open your browser, Firefox in this case, and you go to localhost, notice I just type localhost, enter, and I get index.php. What happened is that if you don't specify the file that you want to fetch, it will assume that you are fetching the default file, which is index.php or index.html. In our case, we don't have any HTML files, we have a PHP file, so it will not fetch the index.html. Instead, it will fetch the index.php. So this is the page you see. So this page is created by the HTML tag, HTML code, which is from here onwards. A HTML page starts with the HTML tag and ends with the HTML tag. And inside there are two main sections. The head section, which starts with the head tag here, ends with the closing head tag here. And the second section is the body, which starts with the body tag and closes with the body tag here. In the head tag, you will have your styles, your title. Title Wi-Fi service is actually what is shown in the title bar of your website, Wi-Fi service. And then you will have the style. The style is also known as CSS styles, cascading style sheets, and this is where you specify the styles for the body and the styles for the button and whatever other styles that you want to specify. And you can change the styles by changing the values in here or here. And you can even add additional styles to control the styles for whatever components you insert in the body. And then in the body itself, you will have a form here, and the form will have a method which is post. If you don't put the method, it will default to get. Now when you're submitting forms, it is always a good idea to use post. It is more secure. It will not show the parameters in the URL. If you use get request, your parameter will show up here when you click start connect. And then the action is where you specify the file that will handle the post request. Now a post happens whenever you click on the button connect, and you need to specify the file that will handle the post, which is in this case index.php, this file itself. And then this file itself will handle the post request up here. So if you were to click on the button submit, or the button type is called submit, it will send the value that is inserted in here. This is the input. This is the input type of text, and this refers to this input here. This connect button is this line here. So when you click submit, both the password and the button will be submitted. And then when you receive by this file index.php, index.php will then check whether there is any value being posted from the button. So it will use this method $_post to check whether there is any post with the button name. And in this case, we do have. Our name is for this submit button is called button. So if this post detects that this button is being posted, then it will know that the user clicked on the button. So isSet is just to check whether or not any value exists for this particular parameter. So if the value exists, it will go ahead and check now check whether or not the user actually submitted something. So it will check for the password value. The password is actually over here, this name. So the name parameter is important. So if you have a name password here, a name button here, you'll be able to check using the post here. So post button here will check for the value submitted in this password, in this name button, and the name password here will be checked over here. So this name button and password here comes from the name parameter here and here. So that is how the PHP script knows what is being posted. It will also check whether it's empty or not. If it's not empty, that means there is some value. It will go ahead and extract the value that is typed in by the user and store it in a variable called password. It will then echo back a message to the user to wait for validation, and then it will concatenate. This dot is called a concatenation operator. It will concatenate with the value of the password that was sent, and then it will concatenate with a HTML tag break. The HTML tag break means to go to a new line. So this is called the concatenation operator, the dot. So the dot actually joins three strings together. The first string is this one. The second string comes from the password that was sent by the user when he clicked the button connect. And the third string is the break HTML tag to go to a new line. Then it will use the fopen function and open a file called password.txt for appending. A means appending. And then it will save the reference to a variable called fp. Thereafter, it will use the fwrite function to use the fp file and write in the password that was given by the user up here. Then it will also write a new line so that the password can go to a new line when it appends. Thereafter, it will close the file. Fclose means to close the file. However, if up here either one of these condition is false, that means if the password was not sent and also the password field is empty, and then this action will not perform. Instead, it will go to the if section. So this happens when the user did not enter a password. That means if the user just click on the form, connect, without keying anything. So if that happens, this part will execute. And it will then send a message to the user saying that the Wi-Fi password cannot be empty. So that is how it works. So now that you understand how the index.php web page is being created, feel free to modify it to your liking. You can change the font size, the background, and the padding, and so on. So if you need any help with this, you can always go to Google and check for some tutorials on HTML, CSS, and PHP. This is just a basic form as a proof of concept to get you started creating your own web page. And, so I will close this now, and you can stop your web service by going to Terminator and clicking Service Apache to stop. Before I stop it, you can also test your web page by going to another computer and then check for the ifconfig first to find out what is the IP address of this server, and then it is 192.168.0.108. You can connect to it by going to another computer. Let's say I go to my Windows computer now, and I key in the IP address 192.168.0.108 and press enter, and I will also see the same thing, the same web page here. So before you can do this, you need to make sure that your Windows computer is also connected to the same access point as your Kali Linux web server. If you check your Kali Linux up here, you will find that it is being connected to Node XHI access point, which is the same as the Windows one. They need to be in the same network before you can use this to test. So if you want to test locally, you just type localhost. So that is all for this lesson. Thank you for watching.